10 reasons why men rejecting single moms as partners is a problem.
Number 1, it is okay for a man to have the preference of not dating a single mother. Number 2, it's okay for a single mother to feel some type of way about that if in fact the reasoning behind why this man doesn't want to date a single mother is because he feels like something is wrong with the single mother, when the truth is he simply doesn't want to raise somebody else's children.
100%. I totally agree with that.
Number 3, when a man is raised by a single mother and he himself says he will never date a single mother as if a single mother is beneath him, he is part of the problem.
No, he's part of the solution because a single mother is beneath him. In the same way, dating a single father is beneath a woman who doesn't have any children.
Number 4, those of you who be like, oh, he just doesn't want to repeat the cycle, lack the critical thinking skills necessary and should have thought this through a little longer. In order for him to not repeat the vicious cycle of single motherhood, he would have to either A, become a stepfather to a fatherless child, or B, not create a single mother himself.
I agree with B, but why do I want to become a stepfather? And for your number 4, it would be nice for you to give us the critical thinking skill that we need in order to understand what you meant by that.
That part I agree with. Don't be one of those that makes a single mother. Don't be part of the problem. But saying that being a stepfather is a requirement to help not having these women be single mothers. I get the reason. She's like, well, if you marry her, if you get with her, then you'll be the stepdad and she won't be a single mother. But I have to say, up until point of 1 minute and 13 seconds, I don't know. Maybe she is a single mother because she comes off very
single motherish.
The accountability thing. I hear a whole bunch of
yeah.
That's what I hear.
And she's talking to men that don't have children, which means they didn't make the mistake of having children in the first place. They didn't create single mothers. So she's telling a person that's not creating single mothers to not create single mothers as if they don't know to not create single mothers.
Right, because they did whatever it is that they needed to do not to be that.
You're talking to the wrong audience.
Number 6, if a man was raised by a single mother and he didn't necessarily have the best relationship with her, and that's the reason why he doesn't want to date single mothers, it isn't because she was a single mother that made her the worst person to be mothered by. It was because she was a terrible person to begin with, not because she's a mom.
Will you stop? I can't even think right here with you. In this moment.
I'm sorry. She really.
Well, okay. It makes it really difficult for those single moms that just, are out here working, living life and taking care of their children. It makes it so hard for them because every single mother doesn't have this air and persona.
Right.
They don't. But I will say that there are many brown women, black women who come off with this right here. I want to address the issue that she said it has nothing to do with that mother being a single mother. It had everything to do with her being a bad person. I'm not saying that maybe that woman did not have issues before, but I do know of many single mothers that have the pressures of life on her shoulders. The pressures have added to it. Not everyone can handle single motherhood with grace. Not everybody can handle it.
Right.
So maybe she wasn't a bad person, but maybe she didn't handle single motherhood well.
Right.
If you're talking to a man who was raised by a single mother, you have to look at it through the eyes and the lenses of the child.
Right.
What you presented to that child was not possibly with what she's talking about was not a positive experience. There go, that man does not want to repeat that and doesn't want to offer that to their children. I can't really get with that last statement that she said.
Evan, just because you had a bad experience with your mother and she was single, raising you alone, doesn't mean every single mother you meet will be like your mom.
I agree with that. I agree with that. That part is true. That's just like, black women, I say black women because usually it's black women that saying this, but women saying, oh, all men are dogs. No, ma'am. You attract dogs. You choose dogs. All men are not dogs. You can't say all unless you've been with all of them. It's the same generalization.
Right.
So I agree with her. Just because maybe this man had a bad experience with his single mother does not mean that all single mothers are like his mother. I agree with that.
I totally agree with that. And I still am on the man's side. So what? I need to make the best possible choice with my resources. I only get one woman to do this with. Only one. So I have to be wise with it.
That I understand, because we've talked about this before, and we've actually covered something similar. And if this man made these choices, these, like you said, calculated choices with his life, these are the choices that he made because of the kind of future that he wants. Just like a woman who, maybe whatever her choices were, and she did not produce a child. You're not starting off at the same level playing field because of the choice.
Right.
Number 8, if you have dated a lot of single mothers and you keep having negative experiences with single mothers and you are still single and not married yourself, sir, that means you just make poor choices in women. These women aren't terrible because they're single mothers. You just have a pattern. You have a bad habit of choosing women that you aren't compatible with.
I agree.
I agree with you.
I agree 100% with what she's saying.
If you keep on choosing these same type of woman, she happens to be all of them. So for whatever she's describing, we're all single mothers. So yeah, it's a pattern.
Well, she clarified it. If you're dating single mothers and women that don't have children and you're still single, chances are you don't know how to pick.
You can't pick them. You don't know how to pick them.
You would say the same thing for a woman who's keep picking bad men.
It's like that's your cycle. That's what you attract. That's you.
Number 9. Most of y'all saying y'all wouldn't date single mothers have never dated a single mother a day in your life.
Why do I have to date a single mother to realize I don't want to be with a single mother?
So something that's been getting under my skin is men not understanding what it means to be a single mom. As a single mom, a single working mom, I have my plate full to the maximum. I don't have free time. The time that I do have free, I just want to relax. If you invite me out for a dinner or drinks, especially during the weeknight, come on. You know I have things to do. I'm sure you have things to do the next day. I have a child to take care of. I can't just go out late at night just whenever, right? So you have to take that into consideration. So if you're really going to invite me out, 1, make it worth my time. And what do I mean by make it worth my time? Just don't invite me out to dinner and drinks. Get creative. Invite me out for an activity. Do something different. Do something that's going to be worth my time and effort. So unless you're offering to pay for the babysitter, I'm not going on that date.
Number 10, the best way to discontinue the vicious cycle of single motherhood is if you yourself as a man refuse to create a single mother, number 1. And number 2, you decide to be the best stepfather there is. Your influence on a child that doesn't have a father would help repair our community.
No one's thinking about the woman who's coming up who is single with no kids, who held her body for marriage. Nobody's talking about her.
Honorable mention. Just because I'm a single mother doesn't...
There it is. There it is. She is a single mother.
Hearing that she's another single mother, then I get where this disposition and this venom is coming from towards whoever this single man is, who is a self-proclaimed high value male. Whoever this is clearly touched a nerve in her life.
I think she's referring to the put a ring on it video. Maybe she's talking about that because she made a lot of points that did, fall into that.
Again, it has everything to do with accountability and reality, because a lot of women are stuck in their own delusion. And the reality is, if a man, especially if he has no children, I mean, that's like cream of the crop. He's the creme de la creme. He does not have to take you and your children on.
Right.
If you don't want to date single mothers, that's your preference, that's okay. But stop trying to make it seem like there's something wrong with single mothers when you simply just don't want to take care of somebody else's children. That just means you yourself don't have the resources, the kindness, or the selflessness to be able to adopt somebody else's child.
That means that you don't have the resources, the kindness,
Or the selflessness.
or the selflessness to take on someone else's child. What incentive are you offering him in the comparison of the woman that's in the same running and same category who doesn't have a child?
Black Macho did a great job of going over his reasons, but left out one very valuable and important reason, which was the most important reason. This man could never be number one to this single mother because the mother has to have the child first. And him having an understanding of that, I thought was deep. And Black Macho, she kind of glossed over that and didn't want to address that point because that's really what disqualifies single mothers. I'll give it to her. She even said that it was okay for you not to want to date a single mother. But her reasoning why, she glossed over the most important reason why. If I am going to treat you as number one, I want you to treat me as number one.
At least in the beginning, which I can't get if you've had a child prior to me meeting you. I can never get that. Ever.
And listen, I mean, look, the fact that you're a good mother, you're going to put your children first. And I think that that's something that the man was recognizing. And really, he should have just left it at that point because as you can see, women wanted to attack the other points. Well, you know, I'm a high value man. I deserve better. You know, I don't want to continue on with the same curses. I was raised by a single mother, you know, myself. And like I said, Black Macho did good at discrediting those points, but she left out the one point that she could not discredit. The one that makes you a good mother is you putting your children first. And if you're going to put your children first, that means that you cannot put this man first. And if you can't put this man first, you can't have the expectation that he's going to put you first. And a lot of men have to now wake up to that reality. Now, the caveat is this only applies to you if you yourself don't have children as a man.
You look at it, you go into an interview because a lot of times that's exactly what's happening in dating. We, tend to think that, all the emotion is involved and all that, and that's true. But a lot of people do look at marriage and longevity of relationship as a contract, as a business, quote unquote. So if that's the case and this man is interviewing you and you're in the running with a few other candidates, what makes you stand out?
You are absolutely right. Yes, I am selfish. You're right. I don't make enough money for your child. I have resources for my child, but I don't have them for your child. You're absolutely right. I am not going to be selfless for your child. I'm selfless for my child. All those characteristics that you're saying that I have should be passed on to the woman who saved herself for marriage. You're forgetting about her because you're not thinking about her. You're thinking about yourself because you have the pressures of being a single mother. Do you have any last words?
No, I do not.
This is Gary Lamb signing off. You guys have a good one.